Julie, great presentation, very well received, loads of questions. How did you think it went?
And it was excellent. I'm so glad that the topic was of interest for the audience, and I was delighted to get as many questions as we did.
What do CPOs need to do to get that all-important tap on the shoulder?
I think it really comes down to marketing the skill set. I referenced in the presentation that there was a great article written by Sourcing Innovations last fall, which talked about all of the different elements that CPOs needed to be tapped on the shoulder. And they were all skills that all of us have: networking, work ethic, business acumen. But I think what we failed to do in procurement, because our value is related directly to all of the tactical activities that we perform, we don't do ourselves good justice to actually market our skill set and how important the intersection of procurement is with all of the functions in the company.
Give me 3 ways that procurement responsibilities can extend beyond their traditional purview.
I think one of the biggest things is around what I call benefit validation. I think it's very important that organizations redefine and reinvent how they look at the value that procurement delivers. So it's not just buying something for cheaper this year than you did last year. It's about the impact to all of the financial statements. It's the impact to the value engineering, to the products and the services. So I think that is really key. I think also in terms of communication, again, rather overused word, but I do think, back to my earlier point, that folks really need to sell their skill set and the value that we bring to the organization. And in order to do that, you have to make yourself available to communicate and to drive that. And the third would actually be focusing on the centralization of processes. That is a very dynamic topic in terms of, does procurement operate better working centrally or being decentralized? And I really believe that the most effective way to transform yourself as a procurement organization is to be more focused on the centralization of everything that procurement does.
Do you think we all get hung up on being CEO? Because some people would say it's actually better to be a few levels down because there's less stress, less likely to get fired.
Well, I think as a CPO, we're just as devoted to the business strategy as any other C-level person. So I think it's a matter of being able to take the value that we bring in managing the entire supply chain, managing our external relationships, supplier as well as customer, and being able to take that to another level to actually drive the strategy of the organization. So that's why it's such a compelling argument to say that we have all of the skill sets to be able to be CEO and bring a different perspective.
From your experience, what's the one thing that procurement pros need to be good at to be CEO level?
I believe that the interpersonal access and the communication skills are absolutely key. If you don't take a valid interest in all of the people and the talent that you have around you, then I think that you fail the organization in terms of taking the company in a new direction, being able to move and being one of those trailblazers.
The one procurement term that you hate, that you want to get rid of forever, what would it be?
Transformation.
Why?
Incredibly overused term. However, I do value what organizations try to do in their transformation journey. What I believe most organizations need to do is that they're trying to drive their procurement maturity. And so I think oftentimes procurement organizations take a much larger leap than they need to, because the word transformation insinuates that you're going to get from 0 to 60 in 3 minutes or less. And procurement, the organizations don't move that fast. So I think if you think about it in terms of the maturity and the steps that you take to get there, then you'll get to your transformation journey much faster.
If you had to choose between experienced hire and upskilling raw talent, which would you choose and why?
I think that's dependent on the talent market that we currently experience. So we are currently in a market to where the talent is just extraordinary. Lots of access to procurement and sourcing individuals and professionals, but they're very difficult to get. So because of that, I think that it's important to actually hire for experience now as opposed to the raw talent. I think that, especially in the line of work that we do in supporting our clients typically don't want to spend the time or even pay, if you will, for that raw talent to be trained on the job for them. They work with WNS Denali so that we can actually bring that experience in procurement to them straight away.
Julie, it's been good to talk to you today. Thanks for joining us.